another. But we also have a third dimension as well, and that is the industry dimension. So I tried to say, what is God's yes to different areas? What's God's yes to finance? God's yes to culture and leisure? God's yes to consulting? God's yes to food and agriculture? And so on and so forth. Understanding what's going on, and we say here, okay, it's about our calling, and about my faith, and it's God's faith, and me, and so. So how do we really take a step linked to this area, personal, workplace, and here, the industry, your area. Logistic, for example, in Jussi's case. He's the guy in logistic. Herman was in the wooden and production industry of doing amazing things for the logistic industry as well, the storehouses and so. And there are things happening in each and every industry. For example, in consulting. I truly see the enemy trying to take advantage of the consulting industry, going through new age, going through different areas. So we need to understand the trends and tendencies. You filming? Yeah, good. Good. So because we're going to send this to Umbu and the other guy. We have a responsible person for this. Umbu Pikonwali in the international board. He's not here. He's from Asia. And also we have Simon Holmgren, who is the driver for this. So how can we see what's going on and say we have an example? So this is the area, and let us say, so it's about from God's no to God's yes. Sometimes we speak too much about chasing the demons in every industry. But the question is, what is God's no to teaching and training? What is God's yes to energy? What is God's yes to sustainability? What is God's yes to leadership and consulting and so on and so forth? So it's not the Babylon, it's the kingdom culture. We need to see what is the role of the industry, for example, education, to forming the next generation. How do you do that today? Well, in Europe, we have a lot of strange philosophies coming in to the situation. And we need to say, okay, let's get a biblical base for this. How can we instruct? How can we serve and support? So we have 4 questions to ask in every industry. Number 1, the role and purpose. What's the role of agriculture? The role is food, right? Self-sustainable. The question, what are then the trends in the industry of food and agro? A lot of occultism comes across. A lot of non-natural things, I would say chemicals and artificial and synthetic stuff being brought into the industry, and the food we eat in not least US and everywhere is crap. So then we need a lot of extras and extras and extras. I think start to eat real food, number 1. If you take our stuff, take real stuff, not synthetic stuff. I think that's very clear. So here are a lot of things happening as trends, and what's the impact and consequences for the bad bread we have in Europe? Maybe we have better and better, but it's not really good. People are getting sick in every area. So there's consequences, and there are consequences of production, there are consequences of big scale, taking away the small bakeries, and we can see a lot of impact, which is negative. And we say, okay, what's God's yes for the food market, for the agriculture, and so on. And second, and then number 4, what is God's yes to this industry? And very often we can see it's about local ecosystems. Local energy systems, local production energy system. It's not about global thing. Could be. But so very often it's global and local, coming together. But again, 4 questions. What's the role? What's the trends? What's the impact, negative and positively? And number 4, what is God's yes? What is where do we find godly role models of carpenters, for example, or consultants, or lawyers like Deborah in Scripture? And we try to say we are getting energized about understanding the role models in the Bible linked to the issue of the industry. So we say every industry should have these areas, which means ICCC, Inspire, Commissioning, Connect, and Care. So now we are working with getting a lot of different areas in place, and they are finally here. This is the final slide. So what we now do is to say we have up and flying financial industry, energy and sustainability, consulting advisory, health and well-being, farming and food, emerging tech. Nitense is not leading that anymore. We are finding a new one, but he had been stepping in when he was in the board. Farming and food, and emerging tech, Jussi, education and skills, culture, marketing and sales, minerals and mining will today, where we have the where was the mineral guy? From where you are, yeah. So now we prophesy, we have a new leader of mining and minerals. Because we have a lot of people who are in mining and minerals. So you will get engaged in this. I'm not forced you to lead it, but we need you, and we will see how we can take it. So we say here minerals and mining, including trading of commodities. I met some guy here yesterday, so I think that's really important. Hospitality and leisure was formed in Örebro, starting up. And number 12, legal services and conceal, Thomas Preté from Portugal. So now, when I have been spoken, and when Mr. Abu Bakr has been speaking, we have lunch. So during lunch, we have here, because of the amazing effectiveness of our service and support, we have one page for each and every industry. You write this says health and well-being. Name, contact number, email address. You just sign in and say, I am happy to join some of these industries. It's not mandatory, but this is something we need to now foster if we're building a platform, if we're building a network, if we're trying to get a knowledge from the Lord to be specialized in understanding the deep spiritual, the deep professional things in every industry. Not every, but those Lord is double-clicking on, so to speak. For example, AI and the digital and the artificial stuff. We need to understand more, not be afraid, and utilizing it for good. So this is the point. Please, when I now finished in 30 seconds, write your name and numbers, and we will take care of, with Umbo and Simon Holmgren, that you are coming into this play in the most wonderful area and process. If you're happy with this, if so, you say yes. Yes. So this is a greeting to Simon and to Umbo. Thank you very much.
I think you just go to the point and say, what can we do between each other? Oh, it's not, my English is broken. Yeah, amongst ourselves. Yeah. So, so there will be different countries, right? And the emphasis is on the African countries to say how can we trade together? What areas can we identify intra-trade and across the border trade, and what areas can be maybe what we call low-hanging fruits, and tie them to the area of your strength and your gifting. So to make it illustration, I would say, for example, I will give you a practical example just amongst ourselves, right? The three of us. So I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I'm also an audit practitioner. I also run schools or in education, hospital, health care, right? Then I'm a consultant. As a consultant, he is in media. He's got a television station in Chad, in Jamena. I went to his television station and he assessed the capacity they have, financial and all that requirements. He brought his accountants to me, and then they sat and showed me the financials. I did a little bit of diagnostic testing and said, okay, your business needs 1, 2, 3. We can work together. One of the solutions I said was, well, I am going to contact TBN Africa. So I contacted Lake Mbiko, the MD for TBN Africa in Johannesburg, and introduced him, right? And then that introduction led to drafting an MOU where TBN Africa is going to partner with them and strengthen them in the area of broadcasting and equipment and the financing, whatever, is still in progress. So it's action-oriented. Don't talk about theories. We are entrepreneurs, right? We do. Yes, I teach sometimes in academics. I teach, right? We have a school, right? International Center for Strategic Leadership. You can stand up. Dr. Gilton is my student. There are two, another one is a student in my class. And then who else? Mary. Yes, they are students. They are graduating in this year. So I'm saying we talk reality. When I'm talking about teaching, I teach principles and all that. But here, let's just do. We don't have enough time to talk. So just see what you can do amongst yourselves. Start with yourself and say, okay, what? And then when you finish, I mean, as you go through that, just write the key points. Either we will ask you to, for 5 minutes each, to say from that side, which areas have you done, right? We did a similar exercise in another organization in Harare, and Marco was there, right? Marco is not here, but from Angola. And within 20 minutes, we managed to raise $20,000 US cash right in the meeting. And we said, then Marco said, he has identified land, 500 hectares in Angola, and they are going to do commercial farming for the whole Africa, that organization. So let's be practical. So first, three key things. One, who are you, what you do, and not don't start telling you are a bishop, apostle, doctor, prophet. No. Please just say the way I did, right? And to the point. Otherwise, if you dominate, the others will not be able to contribute. And we only have 20 minutes. Okay? Is that clear? And then, so once you identify what you do amongst yourselves, in your country, whatever, at a personal level, then you can escalate it and say, is there something we think we can do as a group together under ICCC? If that is what the Lord, if you don't have anything, don't worry. But at least you should unlock the networking of what skills are there, which industries are there. Of course, we will sign there which industry, but just tell us so that we can know what we have in the house. So I guess we are English.